everybody, thanks for joining us to see how KayKay learned to write an original story.
I hope that you learned something. Now it's your turn to try.
Now, does everyone remember the 3 parts that every story has?
Ooh.
Yes, KayKay?
A beginning, a middle, and an end.
That's right.
I know, I wrote it down.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. KayKay and I are going to choose some pictures to help you write your own original story.
That's right. Can we do it too?
Of course we can.
Okay.
Now, the first thing you're going to need to do is come up with a phrase to start your story. Here are a few examples. You could pick once upon a time or a long time ago.
We'll give you a few seconds to write it down. It could be about anything.
You can make up your own.
Be in a forest or in space.
Okay, everybody got one? That's great. I hope you wrote it down so that you don't forget it. So now we can jump into our story. Take a few minutes and create the beginning of your story using this picture. Remember to tell us who your characters are and what they're doing. Are you writing one, KayKay?
Oh, yes.
I got a good one. I know exactly how I'm going to start my story.
This is going to be real fun.
Oh, this is an interesting photo.
I like it.
Lots to look at here.
Got it. Now we need a middle to our story. This is my favorite part because something changes.
All right, now we're going to use 2 pictures this time. So, to start out, use this picture to see what happens and changes your story. Remember, the middle, something changes. What changes when you look at this picture?
Ooh. Ooh, I got it.
There's a lot going on here. Look at all the colors.
Big space.
Very fun.
Big space. Lots of stuff to do. And then all of a sudden, this happened.
Whoa! Oh, this is fun. Oh man, I love this exercise. Okay.
Oh, I got a good idea. Ooh.
I'm gonna get you with mine. But no story is complete without an ending.
Remember, they can live happily ever after, or it could be a cliffhanger.
But it has to go with this picture. I got it. I know what I'm gonna do.
It's gonna be real fun.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. Okay, does everyone have their story? I bet they're really, really good.
Those photos were epic.
Okay, KayKay, can we hear yours?
Yeah. Okay, so once upon a time, going classic.
Good beginning.
Yeah. Once upon a time, there's a little girl named Susan.
Ooh.
Yeah. And Susan found herself alone one day.
Oh no.
And she just woke up and was in a strange place. And one of the things that she had to do was climb out of this different place. And so she had to climb through these different obstacles.
Ooh,
and
fun.
she had to like climb up these ladders and into these tubes and around these different things.
Oh, fun.
And one of those things was like a rope bridge tunnel. And so she climbed through that. And then she came out into this huge empty warehouse.
Wow.
With all of these bright colors. And it was very old though. It was weird because the bright colors, but it was old because there were little like grass and weeds that had started to grow in this place, okay? And then she started to hear this music. And it started out real like quiet and creepy, but then it got like real like upbeat and fun and fantastic, and she thought, where's this music coming from? And so she like listened and she like walked across the wall. You know how you do, and you put your ear up against the wall?
I do it all the time.
She put her ear up against the wall, and finally she found the door that led to where the music was coming from.
What was it?
And so she opened the door, right? And on the other side of the door was this carnival. She like was all these rides, and she was so excited because there were other people there.
Wow.
and there were lights and music, and there were people dancing, and there was like a fire breathing man. He was like breathing fire, and and there was funnel cake and cotton candy, and one of the rides had these different animals that you could like get on, and the she picked the elephant. She likes elephants, so she got on this ride there where there's an elephant, and it went up and down, and it was so much fun. And while she was on this ride, she met another person who was like right next to her on a tiger, and his name was Jeffrey. And Jeffrey like waved, and so she waved back. And so so what they did was, after the ride, they were like, man, that was so much fun.
Of course.
And they decided to go to the next place together.
And new friends.
Yeah. And so they found this like a water park part of the carnival, and so they decided to run around in the water, and they had so much fun laughing, and the end.
Oh, that was great. That was so fantastic, and you used all the pictures in a very creative way.
Thank you. Now you do it.
Oh, okay. My story is set in the future.
Ooh.
So, in 1,000 years from now, there was a little girl named Amelie, and she was out playing with a ball in her front yard one day. It was a special ball. It would hover over her hand, and she could make it float from place to place. But then it fell out of the sky and bounced on the ground and started to roll away. So Amelie chased it.
Oh, no.
And it went into this hole in the yard. And she looked down into the hole, and the hole had no dirt. It was all made of rope, and it went on for a long, long way. So Amelie crawled down into the rope hole, and there was space all the way around her.
Wow.
And she was looking at all the different things, and she kept crawling, and she kept crawling, and she thought, when is this rope hole ever going to end? And so at the end of the rope hole, after hours of crawling through it, it was very, very long, she came into this magical room. It was all sorts of cool colors, and there were containers on the walls, and she was looking around, and she was just completely amazed that all of this existed right underneath of her backyard.
Wow.
And so she started looking at all of the different things that were in the room, and she noticed that she could open each one of the containers, and in some of them were bright, colorful candies that she could eat.
Ooh.
And then in one of them, she opened it up, and all sorts of large plastic flying animals spilled out of the container.
Oh my goodness.
And they started zooming around this magical space. And she got onto one of them. It was an elephant. And she started to fly the plastic animal through the sky.
Wow.
And she flew it up out of the rope hole and into her backyard. And she started zooming through the sky. And she flew over the schoolyard. And the elephant sprayed water out of its nose down onto all of the kids. And they were laughing and playing as the water rained down on them. And then she landed the elephant, and all of the kids rushed over and picked her up on their shoulders. And they said, Amelie is the best. Amelie is the best. We love Amelie. And then she had all kinds of new friends, and they'd climb on the plastic elephants and tigers and bears and pandas and fly them around the town and visit the magical place whenever they wanted to get away.
Wow.
That's my story.
I did not see that coming.
So, now you make sure that you share your story, which I'm sure is equally creative and equally as fun, with somebody in your house. And after you've done that, you can find some old pictures from your family albums and make up stories by yourself.
Hey, if I can do it, you can do it. Now don't forget to use your imagination.
Imagination. See ya.